The history of Egypt spans thousands of years, marked by both internal glory and external conquest. From the death of Cleopatra in 30 BC, Egypt witnessed a dramatic transformation, becoming a significant province in the Roman Empire, experiencing Arab conquests, undergoing shifts in political power, and eventually being colonized and modernized under British rule. This video explores Egypt's historical timeline, beginning with the fall of Cleopatra's reign and extending into the contemporary era, with a focus on pivotal moments in the country's evolution. Cleopatra's rule and the Roman conquest. Cleopatra, the last of the Ptolemaic rulers of Egypt, died in 30 BC. She was descended from Ptolemy I, one of Alexander the Great's generals, who had seized control of Egypt after Alexander's death. The Ptolemies, while Greek in origin, adopted much of Egyptian culture, including their gods and royal customs. Cleopatra, however, found herself on the losing side of the Roman Civil War. After a series of alliances and betrayals with key Roman figures, including Julius Caesar and Mark Antony, Cleopatra ultimately faced defeat at the hands of Octavian, the future Emperor Augustus. Following her death, Egypt was annexed by the Roman Empire in 30 BC. Under Roman rule, Egypt became a vital part of the empire's economic system. The Romans managed Egypt efficiently, ensuring it produced massive surpluses of grain, which fed the eastern provinces of the empire. Additionally, Egypt's rich gold mines added to its economic importance, as did its bustling trade routes, both by land and via the Nile River. Alexandria, Egypt's largest city, became a crucial commercial and intellectual hub of the Roman Empire, second only to Rome itself. Alexandria, the heart of knowledge and innovation. Alexandria, founded by Alexander the Great in 331 BC, became one of the world's most important cities under Roman control. It was not only a center of trade, but also a thriving intellectual and scientific community. Renowned scholars such as Claudius Ptolemy, Hypatia, and Hero made groundbreaking contributions in fields like astronomy, mathematics, and engineering. The city's famed Library of Alexandria symbolized the height of ancient knowledge, attracting intellectuals from across the Mediterranean world. The Romans, although foreign rulers, were heavily influenced by Egyptian culture, and Egypt remained a region of significant cultural exchange. However, Egypt's cultural landscape underwent a major shift with the widespread conversion to Christianity after the 3rd century AD. The rise of Christianity in Egypt led to the establishment of the Coptic Orthodox Church, a division from the Roman Orthodox Church. This shift in religious identity profoundly impacted Egyptian culture, influencing religious practices, art, and daily life. Arab conquest and the rise of Islamic Egypt. By the 7th century AD, the once mighty Roman Empire had been weakened by years of conflict, and the Arabian tribes, united under the banner of Islam, began their conquests. The Byzantine Empire, the eastern half of the Roman Empire, was unable to defend Egypt from the advancing Arabs. In 641 AD, the Arabs defeated the Byzantines and took control of Egypt, marking the beginning of Islamic rule. Under the early Arab Caliphates, Egypt became a central province of the Umayyad and Abbasid empires. The Umayyads ruled Egypt through a system of heavy taxation, which led to revolts among the population. By the mid-8th century, the Abbasid Caliphate replaced the Umayyads, although the Abbasids struggled with internal strife and regional instability. In time, Egypt gained greater autonomy, particularly during the later years of Abbasid rule. In the 10th century, Egypt saw the rise of the Fatimid dynasty, a Shia Muslim caliphate that established Cairo as its capital in 969 AD. The Fatimids expanded Egypt's influence, but eventually lost territory to European crusaders and the Seljuk Turks. It was during this turbulent period that Saladin, a Kurdish general, rose to prominence. In 1171 AD, he abolished the Fatimid Caliphate and re-established Sunni Islam, as the dominant faith in Egypt. Saladin's military successes against the Crusaders, particularly his decisive victory at the Battle of Hattin in 1187, earned him a reputation as a chivalrous and merciful leader. His actions in recapturing Jerusalem also cemented his status as a legendary figure in both the Islamic and Christian worlds. The Mamluk Sultanate: strength, decline, and the Mongol threat. After Saladin's death, Egypt fell under the rule of the Mamluks, a group of former slave soldiers who rose to power in the 13th century. The Mamluks established a sultanate that endured for several centuries. They successfully repelled several crusades and even defeated the Mongol invaders at the Battle of Ain Jalut in 1260. This victory marked a major turning point in history, as it halted the Mongols' westward expansion and ensured the survival of Muslim rule in the Middle East. The Mamluks initially ruled Egypt with military prowess and established a relatively stable government. They encouraged economic prosperity and cultural growth, but their rule began to deteriorate in the 15th century. The Mamluks became increasingly corrupt, and their military forces, once formidable, grew weak. Their downfall came when the Ottoman Turks, led by Sultan Selimai, invaded Egypt in 1516. Despite their valiant resistance, the Mamluks were defeated, and Egypt was incorporated into the Ottoman Empire. Ottoman rule and the decline of Egypt. Under Ottoman rule, Egypt's political significance within the empire waned. The Ottomans largely ruled through local Mamluks, allowing them to maintain a degree of autonomy, but Egypt's importance as a center of trade and culture began to diminish. The global maritime trade routes shifted as European powers, notably the Portuguese, bypassed the Red Sea and the Mediterranean by sailing around Africa to reach India and other parts of Asia. In the 18th century, Egypt faced a new challenge with the arrival of Napoleon Bonaparte. In 1798, Napoleon led a French invasion of Egypt, claiming that he was liberating the country from Ottoman and Mamluk oppression. Napoleon's forces defeated the Mamluks at the Battle of the Pyramids and initially took control of Egypt, but the campaign faltered when Napoleon's forces were struck by plague and faced pressure from British and Ottoman forces. After several years of conflict, Napoleon's forces withdrew, and Egypt reverted to Ottoman control. The rise of Muhammad Ali and the modernization of Egypt. Following the withdrawal of the French, Egypt found itself under the control of Muhammad Ali Pasha, an Albanian officer in the Ottoman army. Muhammad Ali's leadership marked the beginning of a new era for Egypt. He modernized Egypt's military, economy, and infrastructure. His reforms helped Egypt become a powerful regional force, though his methods were often brutal. He focused on building a strong military, modernizing Egypt's agricultural production, especially cotton, and constructing large-scale infrastructure projects. Muhammad Ali's dynasty continued to rule Egypt under Ottoman suzerainty, but by the mid-19th century, Egypt was becoming increasingly independent. The construction of the Suez Canal, begun under Muhammad Ali's grandson, Ismail Pasha, in the 1860s, would become a vital link between the Mediterranean Sea and the Red Sea, facilitating trade between Europe and Asia. However, the financial burden of Ismail Pasha's extravagant spending led to Egypt's debt, and in 1882, the British intervened, taking control of the Suez Canal and establishing a protectorate over Egypt. Although Egypt remained nominally part of the Ottoman Empire, British control was absolute. Egypt would remain under British occupation until the early 20th century. The path to independence, revolution, and modern Egypt. The 20th century saw a shift in Egypt's political landscape. In 1922, following years of unrest and nationalist movements, Egypt was granted nominal independence by Britain, although British influence remained strong. In 1952, a military coup led by General Gamal Abdel Nasser overthrew the monarchy, establishing the Arab Republic of Egypt. Nasser became Egypt's first president, and under his leadership, the country pursued policies of Arab unity, economic development, and modernization. Nasser's successor, Anwar Sadat, oversaw a period of peace and reconciliation with Israel, culminating in the signing of the Camp David Accords in 1978, which earned him a Nobel Peace Prize. After Sadat's assassination in 1981, Hosni Mubarak assumed power and ruled Egypt for nearly 30 years, presiding over a period of stability, but also growing discontent due to corruption and authoritarianism. In 2011, mass protests erupted across Egypt, leading to Mubarak's resignation. Egypt's political instability continued with a brief period of Islamist rule under Mohamed Morsi, before the military ousted him in 2013. Since then, Egypt has remained under military rule, with General Abdel Fattah el-Sisi becoming president in 2014. That's all for today's video. If you enjoyed this journey through Egypt's fascinating history, don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe for more captivating stories from the past, and stay tuned for our next adventure. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.